Nitti was born Francesco Raffaele Nitto on January 27, 1886, in the town of Angri, province of Salerno, Campania, Italy. He was the second child of Luigi and Rosina, Fezza, Nitto. While later journalists reported Nitti and Al Capone were cousins, this was not in fact the case. Their families did, however, live blocks away from each other in Brooklyn and had come from the same area in Italy. His father died in 1888, when Frank was 2 years old. Within a year, his mother married Francesco Dolendo. Although 2 children were born to the couple, neither survived, leaving Francesco and his older sister, Giovannina, the only children. Francesco Dolendo emigrated to the United States in July 1890, and the rest of the family followed in June 1893 when Nitti was 7. The family settled at 113 Navy Street, Brooklyn, New York City. Little Francesco attended public school and worked odd jobs after school to support the family. His 15-year-old sister married a 24-year-old man. His mother gave birth to his half-brother Raphael in 1894 and another child, Gennaro, in 1896. After the 7th grade, he quit school and worked as a pinsetter, factory worker, and barber. Al Capone's family lived nearby, and Nitti was friends with Capone's older brothers and their criminal gang, the Navy Street Boys. A worsening relationship with Dolendo urged him to leave home when Nitti was 14, in 1900, to work in various local factories. Around 1910, at the age of 24, he left Brooklyn. The next several years of his life are poorly documented, and little can be ascertained. He may have worked in the Williamsburg neighborhood of Brooklyn around 1911. He probably moved to Chicago around 1913, working as a barber and making the acquaintance of gangsters Alex Louis Greenberg and Dion O'Banion. He married Chicagoan Rosa Rose Levitt in Dallas, Texas, on October 18, 1917. The couple's movements after their marriage remain uncertain. By 1918, Nitti had settled there at 914 South Halsted Street. Nitti quickly renewed his contacts with Greenberg and O'Banion, becoming a jewel thief, liquor smuggler, and fence. Through his liquor smuggling activities, Nitti came to the attention of Chicago crime boss John Papa Johnny Torrio and Torrio's newly arrived soldier, Al Capone. Nitti, being a newcomer and familiar with the Texas area, became a partner in the Galveston crime syndicate run by Johnny Jack Nouns. He is reported to have stolen a large sum of money from Nouns and fellow mobster Dutch Voigt in 1924, after which Nitti fled back to Chicago. Years later, he was spotted at a Houston bar, which was brought to the attention of Nouns and Voigt. The 2 Galveston mobsters found Nitti, drove him back to Galveston, and made him return the money he had stolen. Under Torrio's successor, Al Capone, Nitti's reputation soared. Nitti ran Capone's liquor smuggling and distribution operation, importing whiskey from Canada and selling it through a network of speakeasies around Chicago. Nitti was one of Capone's top lieutenants, trusted for his leadership skills and business acumen. Because Nitti's ancestry was from the same town as Capone's, he could help Capone penetrate the Sicilian and Camorra underworld in a way Capone alone never could. Capone thought so highly of Nitti that when he went to prison in 1929, he named Nitti as a member of a triumvirate that ran the mob in his place. Nitti was head of operations, with Jake Greasy Thumb Guzik as head of administration and Tony Joe Batters Accardo as head of enforcement. Despite his nickname, the Enforcer, Nitti used mafia soldiers and others to commit violence rather than do it himself. In earlier days, Nitti had been one of Capone's trusted personal bodyguards. Still, as he rose in the organization, Nitti's business instinct dictated that he must personally avoid the dirty work for which hitmen were paid. Frank and Rose divorced in 1928, and shortly thereafter, he married Anna Roma, daughter of a mob doctor and former neighbor of the Nittis in the 1920s. The couple adopted a son, Joseph, through the Tennessee Children's in 1931. Both Nitti and Capone were convicted of tax evasion and sent to prison. However, Nitti received an 18-month sentence served at the United States Penitentiary, Leavenworth, while Capone was sent away for 11 years. When Nitti was released on March 25, 1932, he took his place as the new boss of the Capone gang. In 1943, many top members of the Chicago outfit were indicted for extorting the Hollywood film industry. Among those prosecuted were Nitti, Phil D'Andrea, Louis, Little New York, Campania, Nick Circella, Charles, Cherry Nose, Gio, Ralph Pierce, Ricca, and John, Handsome Johnny Rosselli. The outfit was accused of trying to extort money from some of the largest movie studios, including Columbia Pictures, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Paramount Pictures, RKO Pictures, and 20th Century Fox. The studios had cooperated with the outfit to avoid union trouble, unrest itself stirred up by the mob. At a meeting of outfit leaders at Nitti's home, Ricca blamed Nitti for the indictments. Ricca said that since this had been Nitti's scheme and that of the FBI informant, Willie Byoff, one of Nitti's trusted associates, Nitti should go to prison. A severe claustrophobe due to his first prison term, Nitti dreaded the idea of another prison confinement. It was also rumored that he was suffering from terminal cancer at this time. He ultimately decided to take his own life for these or possibly other reasons. The day before his scheduled grand jury appearance, Nitti had breakfast with his wife in their home at 712 Selborne Road in Riverside, Illinois. When his wife was leaving for church, Nitti told her he planned to take a walk. Then he began to drink heavily. He then loaded a .32 caliber revolver, put it in his coat pocket, and walked 5 blocks to a local railroad yard. Conductor William F. Seabauer and switchman L.M. Barnett and E.H. Moran were riding in the caboose, backing their train slowly southward over an ungated Cermak road in North Riverside. The workers spotted an oblivious Nitti walking on the track away from them and shouted a warning. Nitti walked off the tracks, staggering towards the fence. 3 shots rang out. The workers thought Nitti was shooting at them but then realized he was trying to shoot himself in the head. The final, fatal bullet entered behind Nitti's right ear and lodged in the top of his skull. Police Chief Alan Rose of North Riverside, rushing to the scene with a sergeant and several beat patrolmen, recognized Nitti immediately. An autopsy by William McNally, coroner's toxicologist, showed that Nitti's blood alcohol level was 0.23. A coroner's jury ruled the following day that Nitti committed suicide while temporarily insane and in a despondent frame of mind. Frank Nitti died on March 19, 1943, at the age of 57. Nitti is buried at Mount Carmel Cemetery in Hillside, Illinois. Controversy has persisted regarding the interment of a suicide in a Catholic cemetery. Nitti's grave can be found to the left of the main Roosevelt Road entrance, about 50 feet, 15 meters, from the gate. To the right of the gate is the family plot containing the grave of Al Capone, marked by a 6-foot, 180 centimeters, white monument stone. Straight up from the gate are the graves of Dean O'Banion and Himmy Weiss, both North Side gang members who the Chicago outfit killed under Capone.